following program is a collection of stooges talking about the happenings in the automotive detailing industry. It is meant to be comedic and informative. The opinions expressed on the show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or their ad partners. There may be some cuss words because that's how grown-ups talk in the real world. If you are a young, please seek permission before watching or listening any further.
What's up, everybody? We're back. We're live on some of the channels. I am here with my friend Sheldon K. You guys know him for Mobile Tech Expo. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How about you, man?
I'm great. So I think everybody wants to know, what are we going to talk about? We've hyped them up, I think.
I wish I could show all my DMs of after we launched that video and put it on the floor plan. Like, all right, what are the details? What are we doing? So
yeah, exactly. So I don't know how you want to start this. I mean, I'll kind of follow your lead, and I think we'll hopefully get some people commenting, asking questions. If not, it's your loss, and you should have been on the live to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, so let's get into a little bit of the history of this. Obviously, with Mobile Tech Expo, it kind of started as a PDR show way back, well before my time. Then the detailing got in, but the PDR competition has been going on for 15 years now. And when we took over the show in 2017, one of the things people kept asking is, are we going to do a detail competition? And, we played around with it as a show producer, like, yeah, why not? I'll just do a detail competition. Easy. So then we started polling people, and the huge answer was, it's so subjective. Egos are going to get in the way. You're just going to, make people upset. So we kind of put it on the back burner until last year when Jason Bruno was going to help us beta test. And obviously that didn't work out. So we started talking to some more people in the industry who do think it's a really great thing. And we figured out we can do this with a lot of technology to make it not so subjective. And I think we can have an incredibly fair and reasonable competition where people can really show off their skills. All that being said, this is still a work in progress. So that's why we're doing this stuff live. We want feedback. We're going to give you some of the details that we have come up with thus far by asking tons of people and getting lots of opinions, but we're still looking for more. We know it's going to be hard the first year. We're fully admitting, I think it's going to be good and fair, but we're still going to keep this evolving. But This is for the detail industry. This is for you all watching. So please, please, please comment or email me personally, and we want to make sure this is for you.
Yeah, and I think, being kind of a part of this, helping you out and talking to the right people to really kind of push us forward and help us out. Because again, I told you in the beginning, man, I don't know anything about this, but I'll do my best. I really feel we have it a good, 80%, maybe a little bit more, and I feel like whatever we maybe don't have or people, might have to comment on is just going to be kind of nitpicking and minuscule. So I think we've got the big picture kind of done. I mean, I know, even leading up to this, you and I were kind of, talking, of like little things that we still have to tweak going forward. So, again, be gentle with us, everybody who's watching this or listening to this. We're trying.
Yeah. So why don't we just dive into it? Can you put up the...
Yeah. So jump right in.
All right. So we're not going with hoods. So when we first started talking about this, we were going to quarter off hoods. Instead, there's some issues with that. So we decided we're going to use these stainless steel pans. They're going to be painted by a car painter with clear, about 4 mils. And instead of using hoods, this gives us a lot more flexibility to have this is your piece. This is your individual piece. There's no chance of cross contamination. It's easier to strap down. They're easier to store. They're going to be everyone will be exactly the same as much as a painter can do. Let's all be honest. He's going to try his best to get the 4 mils that we decide, but there's going to be a little bit of give or take there, but it should be relatively consistent. And then they're going to sand it with that 1500 grit. And if you want to talk about why that's kind of relevant there.
Yeah. So when we first started asking people in the industry, like, hey, we want to do this. What do we do? How do we do this? The most common ground was 1500 grit. Pretty much any and most of the compounds that are out there are capable of doing 1000 and 1200 grit. So 1500 grit should be no problem. And realistically, we felt and been kind of told by people is that any detailer worth their salt should be able to pull out 1500 grit sand scratches. So that's where we kind of felt like that's our starting place. Is 1500. I mean, who knows? Maybe it is a little too easy this first year, and next year we go 1000 grit or we go 800 grit. The only thing we didn't want to do is we didn't want to get too crazy because, again, and we'll get to it probably a little bit later, is you're going to be limited with what you can do. So, I mean, this isn't, scratch it up and bring in all kinds of, 800 grit sandpaper and 1000 grit sandpaper, work your way up kind of deal. So we wanted to make it fairly easy and pretty medium with that 1500 grit.
And where we're looking at right now is these pans are about to be put in production to get painted, and we're going to make about 10 to 15 extras from what we're thinking for the competition. And then we're going to start sending them out to people and saying, okay, how long did it take you to do this perfect? Because we know, like Alex said, you can do this perfect. That's not hard. But that's where the time factor is going to come in. You're only going to have, let's call it 6 minutes. We don't know exactly what that time is yet.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to kind of figure out. So we don't want them to be exactly perfect because then it's going to be incredibly hard and subjective to judge. So we want it to still, how much can you do with a limited amount of time? So that is one of the things we're still working on and don't know exactly how long that is going to be yet. But we know it's probably not going to be a huge amount of time because, like you said, it won't be that difficult this year.
Yeah. So for Josh's saying it's got to be show clear coat, not cheap stuff, and is he baking panels? Josh, so no, it's not going to be show clear because we don't want it to be super hard. We want it to be normal car paint. So it's going to be the same stuff that you would paint a car on. No, it probably will not be baked, but we will have them done with plenty of time for them to be fully outgassed and cured before Mobile Tech. So this isn't going to be like paint them a week before Mobile Tech and they're still soft and you can put your fingernail in them and make a mark. These are going to be done probably sometime in December or so that we have a good full, because Mobile Tech isn't until the first week of February, right?
Yeah,
last day or so of January or something, right into the first of February. So they'll have plenty of time to fully outgas and be good to go.
And then the one, I guess I forgot to change that, but we're going to use pans a little bit bigger than that. We're going to go for about the 24 inch by 16 inch. So they're like full industrial ones. We just think that'll give it a better area and give it a little more space for clamping it down.
Yeah.
So, sorry,
exactly.
I just pulled this off the Amazon deals today because
Yeah. So yeah, he seemed to think that was a great idea. Loved it. So good. Glad we were able to answer your question, Josh.
All right. So this is where my DM's been blown up. How are we going to judge this thing?
How are we going to judge it? That's where everybody's been asking me too.
So I'm a tech nerd. I came from a technology background well before I got into shows. So the less subjective we can make this, the better. But I totally get it that there still is some subjectivity. So what we're thinking is Detailometer is one of our exhibitors at Mobile Tech. They have this tool that can do gloss, bunch of different imperfections all over the board. So we're actually going to do as much as we can using the technology tool to be as consistent as possible. It will be judged under the same light in one of those like pop-up tent things that has the light like you would do a photo booth in. So everyone will be judged in the same spot with the same tool by the same person. So all those readings will be taken immediately after the person is finished. So it should be, that part should be as fair as possible. Talking to people in the industry, they still said, well, I think you need to get eyes on it. You have to judge it, just the way you see it in the different lights, angles. So we decided the fairest way to do that was to have everyone judge everyone else. Everyone that competes will judge everyone else's work. You aren't going to even know whose it is. Even if you made a mark or something in my judging system, I will pull out the score of your own. So you could give yourself a 10, that score is going away. So you might as well be as fair to everyone as possible because everyone else is judging you. And then we're going to figure out the way. We aren't exactly sure of the weights of that yet, but that is going to determine the final score. In the event there is a tie, which we kind of doubt, but right now we're just still trying to think of all the variables. We're going to take a thickness measurement before and after, and then that will be the tiebreaker. So Alex, you want to kind of talk about what you would be looking for judging someone else's work, like in person, not with a tool?
Yeah, so I mean, typically, I mean, what I'm going to try to look for is, obviously, do I see any micro marring or DA haze or things of that nature left in it? Like, how clear is it going to look? When I put the light on it and things like that, what kind of clarity am I seeing? Um, and then obviously, kind of like the gloss. I mean, they're all going to be black, so they should be glossy anyways. Josh had another, maybe a good suggestion, Josh. I don't know. I like where you're going with it. So Josh was talking about maybe run glide coat over the finished panels, which is a sanding powder that kind of like fills in any scratches or anything that's still there. So when you're sanding, if you need to keep going more. I do like that idea, Josh. The only problem is I don't know how messy that's going to get, and then like having the panels get cleaned up for other types of judgings. But that's definitely something to think about. I appreciate that, Josh. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I'm gonna how I would look at it. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna because I'm not going to be up here. But that's how I would kind of look at it is I would just kind of, go around with my light and, see if I can see anything. I'm going to look for the clarity in the light. I'm going to look to see if there's, any kind of swelling in the paint or, solvent pop from overheating the paint.
Cool.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Josh, we're not going to be wet sanding them though. I mean, they're already going to be sanded coming into it, so it's just going to be polishing out or correcting out.
and actually on that note, one of the other big questions I've been getting is what tools are people using? And we're going to kind of go with the same model here we do for the PDR competition. You can bring anything you want. If you want to bring your homemade polish, if you want to bring your whatever buffer you like, cool. We are definitely going to have some tools available from vendors around the show. We will publish a list of those that are willing. Like you can go over to probably Flex, since he's been talking to us a lot. If you want to borrow a Flex, you don't have to bring it in your luggage if it's the one you use. But you kind of want to talk about the type of tool that you're thinking, Alex. I know you have a very specific.
Yeah, so this competition, at least for this year, is going to be limited to free spinning DA. So whether it's a 15, whether it's a 21, or if you want to get crazy with some of these guys coming out with like weird higher number throws or something like that, by all means, but it does have to be a free spinning DA. Looking into it after this year, that's going to be up to kind of discussion. We might go, the following year, maybe we go gear driven, maybe we go rotary only. But for this year, we wanted to keep it very simple, very kind of, easy for us, especially being the first time putting it on to kind of gauge this. So yeah, so as long as it's a free spinning DA, it could be your flex, it could be Rupes, it could be whatever, just as long as it's a free spinning DA, not gear driven.
And like I said, we will definitely, we're going to give anyone that exhibits at the show the opportunity to like donate a test one, because I get it. It's like annoying to have to bring yours with you. But I know some guys are probably going to get into, homemade polishes and stuff, where I'm super excited to see all that.
Yeah.
No, we're
So
not,
just
it's just going to be time. It's really going
yeah,
to come down to that time limit.
right. And just that's what Justin Stutz kind of asked. He said, "Is there going to be a limit on the steps that can be done and pads and products?" So stats to kind of answer your question going back is there is going to be a time limit. We're not there yet. I mean, kind of consensus in the people that we've talked to is in that like 5 to 7 minute time frame. Um, and then pads and product again, whatever you want to bring, if you want to bring it, just remember that the minute that you guys pick up the tool, your time starts. So I mean, you can do as many test spots as you want or as many passes as you want, but you only going to have that 5 to 7 minutes, is what we're thinking right now. Again, that could change, but you'll only have that specific time frame to be able to get the best finish that you possibly can.
Yeah. And so I guess kind of moving on to here's my final. So like what's next here? So like I said, these pans are being painted. Until we actually have those in Alex's hands to start sending out to some people, we don't know what that timing is going to be. It might be 3 minutes, and that if that's what it ends up, that's what it ends up, because we're getting all these painted at the same time to be consistent. So it might be a very quick thing, and we will adapt in following years. But I think Alex is probably right about the 5 to 6 minutes. And then the final thing that everyone keeps blowing me up: when we're signups. We're gotta kind of figure out the timing thing. So I'm hoping early November. I don't think it's gonna be before SEMA. I was really hoping we could have signups open at SEMA, but I just don't think that's gonna happen with us still figuring out some of this R&D and everything. So well, I don't know. Alex, do you think there's any chance, even if we were, because I don't want to get them painted too soon, they get scratched up. So I really think we have to hold off a
Yeah.
little.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, up to whatever you're thinking. I mean, I think signups realistically, I don't know that having the pans actually painted, I mean, we could have people sign up. I think they're going to kind of know the logistics of, kind of where we're at from either listening to this or watching it or hearing about it from somebody. Just hopefully this doesn't become like a telephone game and it like gets all weird and crazy when people start talking about it. But, I think if people are going to want to sign up, I don't necessarily know that time limit and things like that are going to matter to them. So, I mean, as early as possible, if you wanted to, I think would be fine.
Well, maybe so why don't we do this? Let's aim. I will figure this out with my team to make sure everyone knows exactly when it will go live, because we are going to have very limited spots this first year. I think we were talking about 16 tops, and that's maybe we can have a wait list if people don't sign up, but you'll sign up, pick your time slot. But I'll get with my team, figure out the exact time, and I think we could maybe do it then right before SEMA, and that way we can get some hype about it and everything. And then
Yeah.
also Mobile Tech Expo is sponsoring Justin Day's party Tuesday at SEMA, so I think anyone that signs up, Mobile Tech will sponsor you to come to the party if you want, because I have to give those away.
Nice. There you go.
Maybe
So
you too, if you want. I don't know.
yeah, so Matt Arndt said 7 minutes is going to be too long. He said keep it between 3 and 5, and Maddie's one of the instructors at Gloss University, so he probably knows a thing about a thing. So,
Cool.
so yeah, Matt. I mean, again, I think until like Sheldon said, we get these pans kind of painted and send them out to some people and let them play with them and see how long it actually takes. We won't know that number for sure. But yeah, and then Yeah, stats. We're not doing rocker panel showdowns. Stats trying to make a joke about a tiebreaker. So, kind of going back to your last screen, the tiebreaker is probably going to be the paint thickness gauge, is what we're thinking right now. So, what we'll do is measure the thickness before you actually start. I mean, again, the guy that I've got painting the pans is going to actually use my meter, which is the same one that Sean Kozier is going to donate to us for these. And so when he paints them, he's going to measure them or meter them to make sure that he's kind of getting them all, pretty much the exact same thickness. So I think right now the thought is the thickness would be the tiebreaker. We'll measure the pans before you start polishing them, and then we'll measure after. We'll get that number, and then if there is a tiebreaker in the detailometer or the peer evaluation, then we go to the thickness and see who removed the less or the least amount of paint in their polishing.
And if it's still a tie, you arm wrestle or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So the one thing I want to ask you, Sheldon, I don't know if you're comfortable with saying yet or whatever, because I know I've had a couple of people ask me, not any in the chat tonight, but just in whatever. So what is this going to set people back? What are they gonna? Do we have a price point yet for entry?
I think we're gonna do $100 an entry, which is more. It's about you showing up. Because we found with some of these things, if we set it too low, people don't show up, and then now we have this spot we have to try to fill. So $100, and then the prizes are all going to be donated by some of the sponsors. We'll go around, so it'll be detail tools and whatnot, and I'll throw in some MTE rooms and that kind of thing. But if you're really interested in this, $100 isn't too bad, and you could, it's really about the trophy at the end of the day.
Right. It's about a year's worth of I'm the mobile tech like paint correction competition best guy, however you wanna do it. It's that flex for a whole year. So I think that's definitely worth it.
Yeah. But again, I want to say it one more time. What I love about this is it is for the industry. So we want all your feedback. And we know the first year, like I said, isn't probably going to be the best. We're going to try our best, but I know that we're going to learn a lot. So please send us your feedback. We are looking for volunteers to try to help with some of the logistical stuff during the day. So if you could offer an hour or so to just, help get the tools and clean up the area or whatever, that would be great. I'm not exactly sure what we're even looking at yet, but I know we're going to need some bodies in there. So anything like that, my email address is sheldon@mobiletechexpo.com. Feel free to email me anytime with any feedback or suggestions, and I'll pass it on to the right people. I fully admit I am not a detailer. That's why I was working with Alex and a bunch of other people around the industry, but I'm pretty decent at putting on a show, I think. So I hope we can make this happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think I don't know. Is there anything else that we've missed that we need to bring up? Does anybody? There's still like 9 people watching. Anybody have any other questions, comments, thoughts before we wrap it up? Because otherwise, it's going to be emails, and I don't want to see people talking shit on Facebook tomorrow. See, Sheldon's got to be like all PC and everything. Not me. I got a podcast. I'll talk shit. So yeah. I guess nobody's coming. Let's see. Bill Martin just chimed in. So okay. So Matt says. So how do we plan to fasten the pans to the work area? That is a good question, Matt. We don't know right now, but one of the people that is helping us out and we've been talking to does know how to do it. So we're going to have them tell us.
Yeah, he sounded like he had a really good plan. My idea was fast clamps on a table and then like slice off the top so you're not hitting your arms and stuff, but it sounded like he actually had like an industrial option. So
yeah, it's something that he actually does on a pretty regular basis for trainings and demos and stuff like that. So we're just going to go with we're going to follow his lead on that one. So yeah. Other than that, I'm trying to think, because I did have a couple of people ask me. Persia didn't jump in here. I was surprised because Persia wanted to ask some questions. I'm trying to think of what else.
I guess one thing that did come up was eventually we are going to open this to sponsorships, definitely for prizes and whatnot. And so one of the questions was, could you be a sponsor and then also have something from your company compete? Yeah. And we do think yes, because it's totally blind. It's not subjective with the technology. So I don't see any chance of, bad vibes, or I don't know what you want to call it.
Plus the way that we kind of looked at it, you kind of hit it on the head, is like it would be great for that person to not win, right? Because then it would show that, we don't have any kind of yeah. And then the other thing too is I think that it would be great that, if the person that wins isn't, like a big name with a company, they can just get that, like, loser on their forehead to that person for a whole year, kind of thing. So yeah.
Well, this is supposed to be fun. Like, I know it's like we're trying to make it a serious competition, but it still needs to be fun at the end.
Right, exactly. So Jerry Grant said is thanking us for doing this for the industry. We appreciate it. Thank Jerry. It's kind of, I guess, been a long time coming. My former co-hosts have been trying to get this going for a while. So hey, better late than never, right? I guess. Is all I can say with it. So, all right. Well, that's about 30 minutes. Sheldon's a super busy guy. So unless anybody's got anything in the next 30 seconds or so to ask, I'm going to let Sheldon go, and we'll wait, I guess, to see what happens once this goes out and people start watching it and see it. So
we'll see if there's any haters tomorrow.
Oh, dude, there's going to be plenty of haters for sure. But like I've said before, they're all going to be keyboard warriors, and they're not going to put their polisher where their mouth is at MTE. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, Sheldon, I appreciate you for letting me be a part of this. I know I told you in the beginning, like, I didn't think I had anything to kind of offer or whatever, but it's been fun. I'm glad that, we're able to kind of do this for the industry, and hopefully, you're not going to win everybody over, but that's fine. We don't need to win everybody over. We just need to win over the people that are interested in doing this. And they're the ones that are, to me, those are the ones that are going to make it fun, are gonna have a good time with it, and going to make it something that, we can improve upon every year. And, again, you said it one time before. I mean, this could go, this could open the doors. You had mentioned a while back that the Dental Olympics does teams. This could be something that comes down to, and I don't know how we would do it to be fun, but maybe there's an inside-outside team, and somebody does an interior cleaning and somebody's doing a polishing on the outside, and you guys are, everybody's judged on, that, I mean, who knows, realistically.
Believe me, like, the ideas are always going through my head. Like, my team doesn't even want to hear what I'm thinking about, but
yeah, I know.
Like, I had so many cool ideas if we just got to get through this first one.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. We got to get through this first one, but the possibilities are endless moving forward with this, and there can be, a lot of fun with it in the industry, and the egos don't have to be there. And again, that's where, the scoring card is up right now. So, we are trying to make it to where it's not, somebody picks somebody just because they like them better or whatever. We're trying to make it all science and whatnot. So that's it. That's all I got. Sheldon, anything else, buddy?
Oh, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Like I said, we'll hopefully get those announcements out for when the registration will open for this competition. Make sure we give people notice, because I do believe it's going to sell out fairly quickly. So aim for, it's going to be before SEMA, and hopefully we'll get that out late next week. We should probably have a date for that. So stay tuned, and make sure you get your tickets. Keep
your eyes peeled for your mobile tech emails, because you guys are like me, you probably just junk them with everything else. And that's where you're going to find out when to sign up for this, when to get your badges for MTE, and when to nominate me for the Golden Mike Award. Because
that will be
my God, if I don't win it this year.
One very serious note, though, if you want to stay at the Gaylord, you need to get your hotel like today.
Yeah.
Now, this is like the first time we're even saying this. We are going to have a second property that's about 10 minutes away. But if you actually want to stay on property at the Gaylord, or I know I always say rooms will sell out, like we are actually like sold out. And they are not going to give us more rooms. Normally I work with them, but this year they said no. So if you want to stay at the Gaylord property, literally do it this week.
Nice. Well, there you go.
And otherwise, then we'll have an option that's about 10 minutes away, launching about a week or so.
Okay.
On a new website, so.
Perfect. Alrighty, sir. Well, you have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go finish batting down the hatches, and hopefully only get a tropical storm. And I mean, or what'll only come through us will be hot tropical storm winds, and yeah. So.
Well, yeah. Good luck with that. Anyone else in Florida?
Thanks,
stay safe.
Yeah, all the guys and gals over in Tampa, West Coast area, man, you guys be safe for sure. It's gonna be pretty nasty over there. So, all right, everybody, if you have any questions, Sheldon dropped his email. You can it's Sheldon@mobiletechexpo.com.
Yep.
Yeah, you can email Sheldon. You guys know how to get a hold of me. You can message me on Facebook. If you have my phone number, you can text me or call me if you have questions, comments, concerns. Hey, Sean Kozier's in the group. Hey, Sean, we talked about you, mentioned your paint meter. Yeah, so we appreciate it.